will be recorded.
That way people who are not with us tonight still have a chance to see your guys' faces and your voice and hear kind of what your platform is. So does anybody have a problem with that? No? Okay.
Nope.
So I don't see any questions in the chat box yet. So once again, if you have any questions for the candidates, please put it in the chat box. If not, I have a whole slew in front of me that we can roll with as well. So candidates, please limit your answer to 1 to 2 minutes. If you go over that, I'll probably cut you off. I don't have the option to mute you, but I'll probably try to cut you off. So the first question we're going to ask you tonight is, what do you see is the future of North Dakota EMS Association? So where do you see the future of NADEMSA? And we will start with Amy.
Well, I see it expanding, hopefully, to keep providing the great education you guys are giving out during the conferences every year, and keep making improvements to EMS overall, especially with all the help with the rural EMS that we need out there. So I see it moving forward. I see it growing and expanding, as long as people are still willing to jump in and do all of this.
Thank you. Susan, would you go next?
Okay. The last attendance at the national level, North Dakota is one of the forerunners in EMS. I'd like to help continue that and make North Dakota a little bit more noticeable for that, and bring it to all of our participants, our members of the association. We need to keep our members up to date, keep them up to date on all of the new techniques, protocols, etc., that are coming out. So we need to push those out a little bit faster than what we have, but sometimes the state does not allow us to do that. So I hope to hopefully get some of that pushed a little faster, a little harder. And that's mainly what I want to do.
Thank you. Melinda?
I see that we're going to continue to grow, and long as we continue to advocate for, like Amy says, education, try to get some new people involved, as well as to, different style of training for the conferences to kind of cater for everyone, to keep them fresh and renewed on different techniques and things like that. As long as we work together and continue to work harder, I can see it gonna grow substantially in the next few years.
Holly?
I'm going to have you repeat the question one more time for me, please.
Where do you see the future of North Dakota EMS Association?
So I have an inside track with that, because as you all have stated, Southwest is strong. Look at, we have had 6 people running. So Southwest EMS is strong. On the other side, if you look at how many people were running for the other districts or regions, I should say, there is maybe 1 person running, maybe no one running. So I think we have work to do, not only in the Southwest. I think we're doing great, but as NADEMSA as a whole, we've got to get out there. We've got to recruit. We have to let people see what they see here in the Southwest. Honestly, I think we have so many people running because they see a good group of people who are forward moving, forward thinking, and fun to be around. Not saying the other regions aren't that, but I think we need to show it more. So with, like Susan said, I think we need to just get our name out there, our voice out there, and let people know how up and coming we are. So I just feel like we have work to do yet in NADEMSA itself. And I'd like to brainstorm, like to come up with ideas of how we can do that. And I think we're getting rolling on that. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. And Jennifer?
Well,
kind of agree with everyone, what they have said already. I think getting more education to this side of the state and advertising to get more people involved, or showing that EMS is critical. Our rural ambulance service is, short staffed, not finding people that want to come and do it, worried about all the hours. Making it more easily to get your hours in your local town, especially like NAEMT classes or your alphabet classes, and keeping that strong instead of people having to travel so far to maybe find extra classes they may need. And just promoting EMS bigger.
Thank you. And just so that everybody doesn't think I'm just picking who I choose, I do have my red Solo cup with all you guys' names in it. So it is a complete random red Solo cup draw kind of night. Our next question comes from the chat box. With the continued nursing shortages and the need for moving patients to definitive care locations well outside of service areas, how do you think NADEMSA could help with EMS recruitment and retention? So I'll read that one more time. With the continued nursing shortages and the need for moving patients to definitive care locations well outside of our service areas, how do you think NADEMSA could help with EMS recruitment and retention? And this is going to go to Jen right away.
Oh, well, I think working together. Like a lot of our services in the Southwest side, we all work together. We know a lot of people at each service, and maybe relying on some of them to help, especially if we're overwhelmed at other calls just in our area that we are responsible for or working that day. That and just advertising, going into the schools and getting people involved at, their sophomore year, their junior year, and start helping maybe grow interest that way. More promoting on EMS, being out in the public more, offering like free CPR classes, stop the bleed, first aid classes, just work on, maybe more people might find it more interesting to come join and hopefully grow that way.
Thank you. Melinda, same question. How do you think NADEMSA could help with EMS recruitment and retention with these current shortages?
Well, it's like Jim Whisper was saying, is that getting out there and recruitment, doing some community outreach, showing the public what we're about, working as a team with hospital staff, agencies, get in with the schools to kind of teach what we're about and to encourage them to think about the future of in EMS in our rural area. I actually have one that just went from EMR to EMT before she graduated, and she's getting her nursing, and she's coming back to be a nurse and EMT for our area. If we can try to keep going, encouraging young people and just getting out there, I think we're going to see a big change on how where we're at right now, but we have to get out there. We got to show them what we're about.
Thank you. The next one up was Amy, and I see her camera is now off. She might have had to go to a call. Oh, there she's back. You're on mute, Amy.
Sorry, I was cold. I had to move. So I agree with Jennifer. I think promoting it, getting students, getting some of our younger generation to want to do this. I think EMS kind of got a bad rap there for a little while, and I see that it's starting to grow and lots more people are wanting to do it, but I think it's encouraging them and telling them what it is and just getting out there, go to the schools, show them what we do, bring them to see the ambulance bay, encourage them to learn, help them with, maybe I think encouraging also getting more grants out there for these kids to want to do it, knowing that they're there to help them pay for it. That might be beneficial as well. There's even people that are graduating now that don't realize there's grants. And I think maybe fight for even those people who aren't doing it full time to be able to get grants to promote them.
Thank you. Susan, you need the question repeated, or are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I totally agree with Jennifer. We need to go back into the schools. But I think one of the problems that we are having is EMS personnel are not getting paid what they should. And I think we need, as the association, to try to do something to help increase the pay. Yes, we do get rural assistance grants, but a lot of that is not for new students, it's for current things. So we need to look at more grants somewhere. I know the foundation also has those grants for those students, but we need to get words out. And the young people nowadays don't want to go into EMS. They want to go into the high paying jobs. Yes, EMS is a thankless job, but sometimes, the high pay is not everything. Um, the thank you that you do get, which I just got one yesterday from my manager in Kildare of a patient that I took care of, that made my day. So I think we need to get these young people thinking about going into EMS and starting in the schools, starting with the first responder class again, which was done a few years ago, and bring that back. Maybe get the younger generation more enthused into a medical profession. Thanks.
And Holly.
I agree with what everyone has said, honestly. The only other thing I can add to that is maybe getting more state involvement as far as the Board of Health with all of the transfers and the rule changes coming up. I foresee that taxing our smaller services even more. If you're looking at taking an ambulance out of New England to do a transfer, leaving who to cover the New England area while the transfer is being done, I think we're going to have to really put some pressure as NADEMSA members and as directors on the state in helping us get solutions to the problem. I totally agree with getting more of a visual presence to the public, meaning I keep saying we need commercials. We need cool commercials like you see when you watch Chicago Fire that show us in action in North Dakota, whatever, that kind of the glory of the job that people want to be a part of. I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. Like Susan said, we are losing a lot of people to professions, going to nursing, a lot of medics that are burnt out and they're going to get their nursing license, better pay, better hours. So there's a lot of work to do with that. But I do think we need to involve the state side of that as well. And NADEMSA is going to have to be a loud voice there in making action happen that way.
Thank you. All right, another question for you guys. After reading your bios and hearing from you tonight, you all sound like very busy / active individuals. Will you, and how will you, be able to be a director for the Southwest and keep pushing the Southwest momentum, as Holly called it, forward? First one is Susan.
I'm on the board right now. I make everything work. If you get on the board, you've made that commitment. You need to continue with that commitment. I feel that we all need to take the time for ourselves also. But if you have committed to this board, you need to follow through with everything and maintain what you need to without burning yourself out.
Amy.
Well, I'm still a paper calendar type person, so I don't do the cell phone calendar yet. I just can't seem to get there, but I schedule everything. So I would just schedule it in like I do everything else and make it work.
Holly.
Well, I've learned the hard way being on the board that there are times where you have to say no. You might get asked to be on a committee and you're just overextended and you have to say, I can't at this time because I want to be able to give 100% to whatever I'm on. There are just times where between working potentially 3 services, like tonight, a prime example, 10 minutes before this started, of all the times, Grassy Butte gets a call where we got somebody in the ditch. And it's like, where do you got to say no somewhere? And it's like, somebody else is going to have to take care of this. I can't do it all. So I'm learning to say no. Currently serving, I'm on committees that I'm passionate about, and I'm lucky for that. Other than that, I don't have a lot of extra, I don't do a lot of extra things other than teaching a lot of CPR. But other than that, I think it's just a matter of scheduling and making the committees that you are on or that you're going to be on a high priority, and that you show up and give it your all, and with that, not overextending yourself or myself.
Jen,
Well, I am OCD. I have like 3 calendars and everything is wrote down. The biggest thing is scheduling around work schedule, but to get on become a member of the board, you know, that would be a commitment, which I'd follow through with, as I'm very OCD and organized person. That and just moving, like all the teaching that I do, at least it's not a whole bunch, but I'm able to schedule everything around basically my 3 calendars, and I do pretty well.
thank you. Melinda?
Well, I've learned once I became an assistant chief in the fire department and driving the school bus for the school, and I was like, okay, how am I going to pull everything off? And one of the classes that I took from International Firefighter Association was time management class, and that really was beneficial because it allows me to manage my time for fire service, schools, EMS, and other things that I'm involved with, the state EMSC advisory board, and that's on a quarterly meeting. So just having the schedule like everybody else, and just time management, and you just got to make that time for this section here, this time. And like Holly said, sometimes you just got to say no. Matter of fact, I just had to drive a bus route and an activity route at the same time tomorrow, and I just had to say no on to one because there's just no way I can do 2. So just having the time management, just learning to say no and say, okay, this is what, prioritize what's important and what needs to be done first.
All right, thank you. So this is a 2-part question, and it goes, how would they, as directors, help increase membership, and would they be willing to visit the services in the Southwest? So the Southwest has, I believe, 36 ambulance services in our district. It's the largest region in the state. The rest of them have 6 less than us, or 9, 10 less than us. So as directors, we represent quite a few services. So how would you help increase membership, and would you be willing to visit those services that we represent? And the first person is Amy.
Well, I would probably reach out to the services, ask if I could come down during their monthly meeting, introduce myself, and reach out, see if they would want to become members, encourage them to become members. I think that would be a good way to go about it.
The second part of that question, would you be willing to go to the services in the Southwest and visit?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Linda.
I would schedule time and go meet and greet everyone and talk to them what we're about and encourage them, and just getting out there and just, shaking hands, meeting people, just kind of give that positive vibe to encourage them to be a part of this great group.
And you're willing to go visit those services?
Yes.
All right. Holly,
Yes, I definitely am willing to go visit services. I did really appreciate we had set up Zoom meetings like this with services, and we could meet face to face, answer questions. It was easier for all of the Southwest board members to get online and meet that way. We do have a large area to cover in the Southwest. We're spread out, and I think one of the larger areas. So I think it would be something that we might have to look at, maybe splitting up, where we might double up and a few go here and a few go there. But I think definitely it's something that we need to do to get our name out there, to have our faces out there, and to promote being a member of NADEMSA. That is our future. If we don't have membership, we kind of are gonna fizzle away. So definitely would be willing to travel and set up those Zoom meetings, however it works, to get to see the majority of our services.
Susan,
I can't remember what year it was. I did go out to a bunch of the services and met with them on their board meeting nights. And some of the services I took awards to after conferences. So I think it's a great idea we need to continue that or bring it back to meet with all these services. And yes, I am very much an advocate for that.
and Jen.
I agree with everyone. I would go and visit the services around where needed, even if we went in pairs, and just visiting with them and letting them know about the membership and the benefits that are included in that membership to promote that. And maybe, if there was like a class schedule on the DEMSA or whatever that show, I think there is, but like all the classes that are all around, and so that they could see that and know that there would be classes maybe closer to home for them to attend.
Thank you. And
Or
just
people would travel there.
Thank you. Just so people know how big the Southwest truly is, McKenzie County is part of the Southwest, so Watford City, and then we go all the way over to Melinda and Amy, and farther east over to Mona over there in Steele, and then south. So the Southwest region is a rather large region, and we have a lot of services. So this chat, or this question, comes from our chat box, and I think this person is near and dear to my heart with this question. So mental health has been in the forefront of EMS nationwide for the past few years. What can NADEMSA do to continue mental health of our people, and how do we break the stigma of mental health being bad? And this will go to Amy.
Well, I personally took the mental health class that you guys offered down in Jamestown. Geez, it's already been, I think, 5 or 6 months now. I think offering the classes, continuing to show that mental health is not a bad thing, and making people aware that those of us who have been doing this, at least I'm hoping most of us, have gone out and gotten help on those really bad calls, and critical debriefing is a great thing. But to keep encouraging the mental health awareness, the mental health education for providers to be able to help those that are in need of any kind of it, whether it's your coworker, your peer, your loved one, friends, family, or just somebody maybe that you don't even know, but they want to reach out to you.
Holly.
Mental health is near and dear to my heart as well. One of the things that I think Kyle can attest to, that I've been kind of pushing, especially in our Southwest, when we have our conference in the Southwest, we did kind of a little breakout session. It was an eye opener to see how many people kind of felt alone. And also, somebody brought up even like funeral directors. Do they get debriefings? Do they get to be in on the mental health stuff? And it's like, holy buckets, I never even thought about that. So I think that I think we need to definitely promote the mental health things that are going currently. We need to get the word out. And a lot of that is sharing. I don't know about all of you, but I'm horrible at getting an online magazine and going through it and looking at it. I'm more of one of those that sees it like right before this meeting, we all blasted, don't forget your Southwest meeting tonight, a little snippet. When you see things like that, it puts it in the forefront and it doesn't get buried in between other things. So I think we need to really work on getting it out there so that more people see that there are great programs already set up. It's a matter of utilizing those great programs and continuing to put them at the forefront, because mental health is getting to be a bigger and bigger issue. There's more severe calls. There's more, I mean, they've always been bad calls, but it seems like in today's society, things are escalating. And I think we're going to have to really stay on top of the mental health issues. And I think Southwest is doing a pretty good job of putting that out there.
Thank you. Melinda?
I think that one is that just advocating right now about mental health issues in the EMS and fire services is better than it was when I used to volunteer in Oregon years ago. It was suck it up, buttercup back then. And continued to keep pushing that, because like everyone's saying, we've all been in this situations where we've seen some things, especially when it's the increase of pediatrics cases. Those are harder on everybody because we're ingrained in our DNA that we bury parents, not children, and that does hit harder. And just having availability services like critical stress incident debriefing, which I've used that once already. Just having counselors available, having peer support available, and just continue and educate and promote that, hey, it's okay not to be okay, and that we're here for each other, and give us that moral support and comfort when we need it.
Thank you. Jen?
I think, going out to the other services like talked about earlier, also including that information in there. Does everyone have access to CISM? Do they have the phone number? All the different mental health classes. I know the NAEMT offers mental health classes. Finding a class like that, and we do offer that in Bowman now. So something that we could travel to if people are interested, and keeping it like on their minds. And it is a big thing, and there, seems like suicides have increased a lot lately. And so I believe in just the more power of word and getting it out there and advertising to all, even firemen, and probably even police officers too, if they're around, it could be included.
Thank you. And Susan?
I'm not sure if all services have that EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. And if you do, there are 20 sessions free to every individual. If you do not want to talk in front of your group, that you feel that you need to do it on your own, because you might have something else that's interfering with your mental health besides the incident that you do go to. So reach out to those programs. And yes, the CISM team is awesome. I think we need to get that out in a newsletter sometime, possibly through the association, to put some contacts for our CISM teams in each region. They're there to help us. We have to look at ourselves. Our mental health is what keeps us in that rig. And if we don't keep ourselves healthy, we're not going to be well later on.
Thank you. And I'm going to put a plug in for the North Dakota EMS Association's Mental Health Committee right now. Deanne Weir and myself co-chair that committee. We do a lot of stuff through that Mental Health Committee. We do have a monthly webinar. I don't know if you guys watch that. It's going to be, this month is, we kind of switch gears and are going into a series of webinars where we talk about what happens when we become the patient, or when our loved ones become the patient in that ambulance. And so PJ Ringdahl is going to be the first one presenting this month on her story. We have 3 months of that coming up, so I encourage you guys to join in on that. The Mental Health Committee also has a presentation that we can bring to your service to talk about mental health awareness and getting resiliency built into your organization. So if anybody would like that brought to your organization, call Corey at the office or call me or Deanne, and we'll get somebody out to you guys. It's about a 2.5 hour, depending on how much engagement we have, presentation. So we encourage you guys to join us for that. Now, we're currently working on our next round of boot camps, and we have a wonderful individual coming to present at our boot camp and some webinars prior to that. So the Mental Health Committee is working hard for you guys, and will continue to work hard. Next question. What do you think is the #1 issue affecting North Dakota EMS, and how can we fix it? This is going to go to Susan.
Would you repeat the question again?
What do you think is the #1 issue affecting North Dakota EMS, and how can we fix it?
Recruitment and retention. That's our big thing. We do not have providers to cover our services. I don't know if it was today, was that in North Dakota, that there was a service that was not able to cover? Or was that in Montana? Somewhere, anywhere, I saw it. But I think that's our biggest problem is recruitment retention. So again, go to the young people, see if we can't get some interest in that side of the coin, to see if they would be interested in coming into EMS. Yes, I know they want the high-paying jobs when they get out of school, but you know, sometimes you might have to do the EMS to get you through school. It may pay for a little bit of your college. So recruitment retention, I think, is our #1 thing.
Thank you. Jen?
Well, recruitment and retention in EMS is hard. The pay, the benefits, the hours, the continuing education that you have to get. Maybe, you know, you can start like a cadet program. You get people interested. We're going to pay for you to take your class and kind of learn on the job. Maybe that'd be something to think about, and, you know, involving anyone that'd be interested, and then they can like work on the job and see everything and yet stay in class. But until EMS is recognized as an essential service, we're just kind of stuck. I know every service around there's pay is different all around here in the Southwest, depending where you work, and it's hard.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question one more time. What do you think is the #1 issue affecting North Dakota EMS, and how can we fix it, Holly?
I think Jen hit the nail on the head. Essential service. We are an essential service, and we need to be recognized as such. And once we're recognized as an essential service, then kids want to grow up to be not police officers or firefighters, but they want to be EMS. Then our recruitment is there. Retention, being pay is probably one of the biggest things for retention. When I drive down the street in Dickinson and see that Baker Boy is making $22 to $25 an hour for whatever, it's like, wow, we just are working our butts off to get up there. Why would I want to be an EMT, right? So I think it comes down to with the recruitment, retention, being an essential service, being seen as such. I can't tell you how many times we get calls where fire department shows up and people are oogling and ogling over the fire department because they came to help grandma off the toilet. And it's like, what am I, chopped liver? But we're not seen other than when we go flying by somebody on the interstate. So how do we fix that? Again, goes back to marketing. It goes back to putting our name out there, trying to show the glamorous side of this job. And I think a lot of people have the misconception that every call EMS does is a crap call. And they don't realize that there's glory calls in there too. There's times where you go and you hold the hand of somebody who just had a diabetic issue and you made them a sandwich and you got to sit and visit for a little bit. Those are good calls. People need to know not everything is scraping somebody up off the road. I think it's a perception that we need to work on. And that's when you get that perception right in people's minds, then I think people want to be a part of us. Yeah, delivering babies, exactly. That's a glory call. We want to, yay, but we don't see that. You see a police officer that catches a baby, you'll see that, but you will not see an EMS person. So we need to toot our own horns, so to speak.
Thank you, Holly. And I'm going to disagree with delivering babies again. And if I get asked to do the OB presentation at any conference, I will continue to say no, because there's nothing. Yeah, we'll move on. Amy, what do you think is the #1 issue affecting EMS in North Dakota, and how can we fix it?
Well, I would say the delivering babies, but anyway, just kidding. I agree with what Susan said before. The retention is definitely an issue, but also getting people to want to do it is a huge thing. And I do believe a lot of it is the pay. I've reached out and have talked to people when helping New Salem become a district just to see what they were doing and how they were doing it. And there's still a lot of services that there is no monetary compensation. And when kids these days, they want money, they want to get paid, they want to go buy their $100 pair of jeans. So they don't want to sit around their town and not make anything to be on an ambulance service. And I think trying to incorporate something, I'm not saying that they're going to make a ton of money, but some sort of compensation for the education they have to do, the amount of hours they have to put in for training, on top of the continuing education, that they need to be able to get something out of it as well, because it is a thankless job. They're not the firemen, like Holly said, where everybody's like, yay, the firemen are here. It's boo, the ambulance is here, and we're only needed for usually sad situations. So I think finding a way to retain the employees that we have and compensate people that are coming into it, because I know when I started it was $1 an hour, and you're not going to get kids nowadays to do this for $1 an hour.
Thank you. And Melinda, what do you think is the #1 issue affecting North Dakota EMS, and how can we fix it?
Well, just like everybody says, recruitment and retention, and there got to be something in it for them. Because, like right now that I got my paramedic, I'm right now an all volunteer service. We don't get paid, and a lot of the younger generation don't understand it's more about helping people. They got to have something else in it for them. Then also just getting out there and just trying to show them, like Holly was saying, something more glory about it, to where it's like she said, the firefighters get the glories, the cops get the glories. A lot of times when I get there, like, oh, the deputy's already taking care of the patient, and it's like, okay, that's fine, but we're going to continue to give more care besides what they can. We need to kind of show, like Holly said, we need to toot our horn. We need to show off a little bit. Hey, this is something pretty cool. We're doing something amazing, helping people when they're sick, when they're hurt and everything. I will share this story, and it was kind of nice. One of our basketball coach had a heart attack in school. The kids were actually paying attention in their training, got the AED, and we got there quick, and we got him to hospital quick and flight down for cath lab. And it was nice. We got a thank you card from the family and a meat platter tray and a dessert tray. It'd be nice to share that with the community that, hey, we were appreciated for what we did. And we need to just kind of show, hey, this is why we do what we do.
Thank you. All right, so some late news coming in. Jason Anderson has pulled his application to be a Southwest director. So it is down to 5. So sorry to hear that, and we wish him the best. So One final question and we're going to end tonight. So thank you, ladies, for doing this, and thank you to all of those who are watching and are going to watch on the recorded version of it. So this comes from the chat window. How do we go about getting on the same page as a profession to ensure that we can further our profession and become an essential service, since many of these issues wouldn't be remedied until then? As our representatives, what are some things that you would do to get that ball rolling? So kind of a two-part. How can we further our profession and get it to become an essential service? And as a representative, how are you going to get that ball rolling? And the first person is Amy.
Well, I think one, trying to get it be recognized as essential service is going to be a difficult thing, as I think it's been tried not only here in North Dakota but other places. But I think it would be, as the group, going and bringing it to the legislature and trying to get them to put us forefront and treat us the same as the fire and the police department. And then next, I think all of us having meetings, figuring out what we want to do, how we want to make it happen. Not just all of us on our own doing our own individual thing, but actually getting together and sitting down and saying, what is the most important thing? How are we going to make this happen, and run with it?
Thank you. Jen.
Okay. Well, maybe again, back to the whole marketing and be going around to businesses, checking, do they have AEDs? Checking their AEDs, being willing to make sure that they have first aid kits and AEDs are readily available. And again, going to the legislator, going to meetings, creating groups where you can have a group that attacks this and works on it. But yeah, big thing is marketing and showing what EMS is and what we do. I think that's a big thing that's really lacked. You always see fire and PD and they're out and about, maybe more with EMS. So it's been hard. I know this has been going on for a while. EMS is just not essential and it's all over the nation. So working to change that, or how can we change that? And yeah, creating groups with other services.
Thank you. Susan, you're up next. Do you need a repeat or are you okay?
I'm okay. I think we need to start right in our city councils and go there, also with our county commissioners. We are to have ambulance services in every county, so we need to also go there. And then step up to our senators and our representatives to make us an essential service. Sometimes maybe even just having a meet and greet with some of those, because I don't know if they realize what EMS is. I know some of the legislative sessions, they are so against EMS that they vote things down without realizing what we do, where we are in today's life activities. So maybe getting the word out there to them. And I know the EMS Association could also help with that, to get out to our legislators, because we all are in other parts of the state to meet with our legislators and our representatives. So I think that's our big thing that we need to do.
Thank you. Melinda, do you need a repeat or are you okay?
I think I'm okay. One is that we need to get together as a group and discuss some things and make a plan of action, and talking to our elected officials. I'm active in the National Association EMT advocacy, and I send letters to our officials trying to fight for EMS. We just need to get together. I know, like, for example, North Dakota Firefighter Chiefs Association, when we got together on legislation, we went down there and we talked to the whole floor at the state capitol. And we need to do that here with EMS. We need to be in our uniforms. We need to show up. We need to show them what we're about. And we need to advocate. And we need to also maybe some of us in the future run for office so we can continue advocate and fight for EMS as well as elected officials. And we just have to work together, and we have to come up with a game plan and keep fighting.
Thank you. And Holly.
Well, there are 13 states, I just looked it up, that are deemed essential. And it comes through being an advocate. And we do have a great advocate in the state. I think Adam Parker does a great job in advocacy, but it is, like you said, we got to hound our legislators. We've got to make a noise, because who's going to show up when you call 911 when our services are all closed? Because we can't afford to stay open. We're small. We're paying $1 an hour. We're not paying at all. We expect volunteers to answer the call, and businesses are having more difficulty letting people go, especially with the increase in transfers. Like when we started this forum, we talked about how more and more transfers because not enough nurses, patients needing a higher level of care. We're taking people out too long for volunteers to be able to be gone that long from their primary jobs. So it's going to come down to being the squeaky wheel so we get the grease. And we're going to have to band together and as a state show up and try and make it as big of a push as we can to become an essential service. Because as we've seen, what do we have, one service a year about that's closing in North Dakota or merging with someone else? I don't foresee that getting much better unless we make a change, or we're going to have to work on reimbursement through Medicare, Medicaid, somewhere where we can start funding our ambulances a little bit better. I don't know if I hit both parts of your question or not, because I was the last one. So.
All right, our time has come to an end, but I'm going to give all of you a quick minute or two to give a closing remark, and then I'll say my final thanks. So, closing remarks, we'll start with Holly.
All right. Well, I just want to, again, thank you all for the privilege of serving as long as I have. It's been an honor to be on the NADEMSA board as long as I have. I really do want to continue that work. I want to continue to be that voice for especially the small rural settings. And I just appreciate the support. I appreciate the teamwork that we have in the Southwest, and I look forward to continuing that with the votes.
Thank you. Melinda, closing remarks?
I want to thank you and everybody for being here and having this discussion and questions and meeting with everyone. I know I'm new to EMS and less years experience than most, but one of the things I'd like to do is continue what we all been doing and to move forward to the future and to see bigger and brighter future and hopefully get some younger people involved and just work as a team with everybody and trying to make EMS a better place for everyone.
Thank you. Amy.
Thanks for having us tonight, allowing us to all talk, answer the questions, meet each other. And I'm just hoping that I get to become part of the board so I can help advocate for EMS across the state. And that's pretty much it. It was nice to see everybody's faces and meet some of you.
Thank you. Susan?
Just vote for me. No. I would like to continue as a voice on the board. Yes, I've been on since 2010, but there's always things that we have in the works that we'd like to continue with. And I have a couple of those things in the progress, and I'd like to continue those. So I would advocate for everybody to go out, recruit, and get more people involved. Even if you don't get on the board, we need everybody's voice, even though we are not on the board. So we appreciate everything that everyone has done for your counties, your communities, and the service that you give. Thanks, everyone.
And Jen.
Thank you for completing this, able to meet everyone and see that people have joined to listen to us. And I think big thing I look forward to if I was nominated just to be part of the board to help work with recruitment, retention, and bringing education closer to the ones that maybe that don't travel very far or don't want to go as far as some education classes are offered. Short and sweet.
Thank you, Jen. As for me and the rest of the Southwest Board, we appreciate all of you guys joining us tonight. We appreciate those that are going to watch this later as well. The Southwest works for you, our members. Without you guys, we don't know what to represent and what to push forward. So please reach out to us. Let us know where you want us to go. The Southwest Conference is in its planning stages right now. So if you have ideas for that, once again, reach out to us as well. So for me and my Red Solo Cup, I thank you all tonight for joining us. And I'm going to turn it over to Kelly Dollinger, our past president, for a few words, and then you guys can have your evening back.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay? Great. I got just a few small comments. I'll keep it really short. Just a couple of notes that I took during this. I understand that this is the very first time that DEMSA has done this, and I love it. I think this is going to be something that should be continued on through all the regions and even in the executive board if we get to the point where we actually have people running against each other. It's been a few years since we've actually had someone run against each other on that executive board, but this is such a great avenue to get to know the candidates. I wasn't real hesitant about coming on. I wanted to get in here. It was a timing thing for me, but I'm really glad the schedule worked out. And I'll tell you, Southwest Region and Kyle, you guys are rocking this. This is awesome. Thank you for doing that. Couple more things. The questions that you got, I seen in the chats that they were tough questions and they required tough answers because these are tough issues that the state of North Dakota deals with on a daily basis. And I think you all five of you did very well in answering these questions. So kudos to you guys. And with that, I'm just going to sign off and say thank you for having this, you guys. And I hope to see more of it in the other regions as well. Good job.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody, again. And you guys all have a great evening. Voting is coming up next month, so watch for your emails. If you don't get it, let Corey know.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.
Stay safe and warm.
Thank you.